I have walked into many rooms in my lifetime. Boardrooms filled with polished tables and serious faces, crowded halls where strangers balance plates and conversations, family dining rooms where old stories and old tensions share the same space. And I have noticed something that happens in the very first minute, every single time. In that first silent minute, long before anyone speaks, judgments are already being made. Without a word, each person in the room is asking themselves, who is this? Do I need to pay attention? Do I feel more at ease or less? You may not hear the question, but you can see the answers in their eyes, their posture, the way they turn toward or away from you. Picture a business meeting. The door opens and a young man steps in. He is intelligent, hard-working, full of ideas. But as he enters, his shoulders are slightly rounded. His eyes glance down, and he slips quietly into a chair at the edge of the table. No one looks up for more than a second. To them, he is just someone from the office. His talent is real, but his presence whispers, I'm not important. And the room believes it. Now imagine a social gathering. Music plays, glasses clink, small groups are talking. A shy woman arrives. Her heart is kind, her mind interesting, but as she enters, she clutches her bag, looks at the floor, and hurries to the nearest corner. People glance at her and then look away. Later, someone says, she seemed a bit cold, when in truth she was simply tense and afraid. The room did not see her warmth. It only saw her fear. Then think of a family dinner. The table is set, voices overlap, and there is a hint of old arguments in the air. One relative walks in with heavy steps, a tight jaw, and eyes that dart around. Defensively, the atmosphere tightens. Another relative comes in later, standing upright, moving calmly, looking at each person with a gentle, steady gaze. They have not spoken, yet somehow the table quiets a little. People breathe easier. One presence brings confusion, another brings calm. No, speeches were given. Only bodies entered a room. Long before you open your mouth, you have already said a great deal with your presence. Some people walk into a room and at once seem to fade into the wallpaper, and people forget they were even there. Others walk in and, without any dramatic gesture, seem to carry a quiet weight. This person matters. We often explain this away with words like charisma or status, as if it were a gift given only to a few. But much of it is not magic at all. It is a set of habits, inner and outer, that can be learned. The cost of not understanding this is high. Opportunities are often decided in those first impressions. The talented employee is passed over because no one ever feels his presence. The shy guest is never approached because others assume she does not wish to be disturbed. In families, the one who could bring peace is ignored because their presence does not announce, even quietly, you can lean on me. I do not tell you this to discourage you, but to awaken you. You may have spent years thinking, if I have good ideas, if I am kind, if I work hard, people will eventually notice. But the truth is, people are making up their minds about you in those first seconds before your ideas, your kindness, or your hard work have a chance to speak. So let me ask you a question. What if, without saying a word, you could walk into almost any room and quietly signal, I respect myself, I respect you, and I am worth paying attention to, not by pretending to be someone else, not by dominating or demanding, simply by changing the way you prepare yourself and the way you enter. In this talk, I will not ask you to act, to bluff, or to play a part. I will show you a sequence of simple habits, some in your mind, some in your body, that practiced together make respect a natural response to your presence. You will learn what to do before you touch the door handle, how to take your first steps inside, and how to connect with others without uttering a single word. You do not need to become loud. You do not need to become someone you are not. But you can, if you wish, learn to walk into a room in such a way that people feel your arrival and are glad you came. You begin commanding respect long before your hand touches the doorknob. Long before anyone sees your face, you have already decided in your own mind how much you are worth in that room, and that quiet decision will show itself in your eyes, your shoulders, and your very first step. Most men and women walk toward a door with an inner dialogue that works against them. I hope they like me. I don't really belong here. Nobody cares who I am. These sentences are never spoken aloud, but they may as well be written across their foreheads. The body obeys the mind. If you tell yourself you are small, Your posture shrinks to match. If you tell yourself you are an intruder, your eyes and movements will apologize for your presence. You have seen this often. A person approaches a meeting room, hesitates at the door, glances down as if asking permission from the floor, and slips in quickly, trying to disturb as little air as possible. They sit at the far edge, busy themselves, with papers or a phone, and hope not to be noticed. They think they are being modest. In truth, they are announcing to everyone, I have nothing important to add, and the room believes them. The first change in commanding respect is not in your walk, but in your thoughts. You must gently retire one question that has been poisoning your presence. Will they accept me? As long as you walk into rooms asking this, you will always be asking permission to exist. Replace it with a better question. How can I contribute here? That single change turns you from a beggar seeking approval into a participant bringing value. You are no longer a child waiting to be chosen. You are an adult prepared to offer something: attention, ideas, support, calm, humor, whatever is needed. In the same way, you must replace the belief, I am small, with a more truthful one. I am one valuable human among other valuable humans. You are not above them, and you are not beneath them. You are one of them. When you enter a room with this inner stance, a great deal of anxiety falls away. You are not trying to prove that you are better, nor are you trying to hide because you feel worse. You are simply showing up as one person with something to give. I am not asking you to repeat grand affirmations you do not believe. I am asking you to choose one or two quiet sentences that you can believe and carry them with you to the door. Let me suggest a simple pre-entry. Ritual, not mystical, not dramatic, just a small act of mental hygiene. 5 or 10 seconds before you enter, pause. Yes, even if you are standing in a hallway with others around, you can pause inwardly. Take one slow breath. As you inhale, gently straighten your posture as if a string were lifting the crown of your head, not stiff, just awake. As you exhale, think, someone in this room needs the best of me. That thought does something wonderful. It takes the spotlight off your fear and puts it on your purpose. You are no longer walking in to be judged. You are walking in to be useful. Perhaps someone needs your careful listening. Perhaps they need your calm presence, your skill, your kindness. You do not need to know who it is. It is enough to decide that you are there for more than your own nervousness. Think of this ritual in ordinary situations. Before a job interview, most candidates walk in thinking, they hold all the power. I hope I don't fail. Their hands sweat, their voices shake. Imagine instead standing for a breath outside the door and thinking, I am here to discover whether we can help each other. I am one valuable human among other valuable humans. The interviewer will feel the difference, even if they cannot explain it. Before entering a team meeting you usually dread, you might be tempted to think, this will be a waste of time. You drag your feet and slump into a chair, broadcasting boredom. Try another approach. One breath, one straightened spine, one thought. Someone in this room needs clarity, focus, or encouragement. I can offer a little of that. You may still dislike meetings, but you will no longer be powerless in them. Before walking into a family reunion that often feels tense, the old habit might be, here we go again. I hope they don't start fighting. You walk in, braced for impact, and everyone feels the tension you carry. Instead, pause at the door and think, I am here to be a calm, kind presence. I don't have to fix everything, but I can refuse to add to the storm. That quiet decision will show itself in your face, your movements, and yes, in how much respect you receive. There is a simple law in human relations. People feel about you what you quietly feel about yourself. If you walk in apologizing for your existence, they will unconsciously agree. If you walk in as if your presence has a right to be there, they will unconsciously accept that too, not because you are louder, but because you are settled. This inner stance is not arrogance. Arrogance says, I am more important than you. True self-respect says, I am important, and so are. It is from this balanced ground that real, quiet respect begins. Before the door, in those few seconds no one sees, you are already giving your first speech to yourself. Make sure it is a speech that will help you walk in like someone whose presence counts. You do not need a perfect face. to command respect. You need a coherent body. People are not measuring the details of your features nearly as much as they are asking one simple question. Is this person in command of themselves or not? Your body answers that question long before your voice does. Let us take your entrance and slow it down, almost frame by frame. First, your speed. Many people rush into a room as if they are late for a train. Their steps are quick, almost apologetic. They seem to be trying to get from the door to their seat as fast as possible so that no one will notice them. This kind of entrance whispers, I am nervous, or I don't belong here. Others drag their feet, moving with a heavy, tired gait. They look as if they have already given up on the day. This signals low energy, low interest, not someone whose presence we naturally lean toward. What we are aiming for is a steady, unhurried pace. Not slow and theatrical, but calm and measured. A pace that says, I have a right to be here, and I am not in a hurry to escape. That simple change alone makes you look more composed, and people tend to respect those who seem composed. Now, your posture. Imagine a string gently pulling the crown of your head upward. Your chest is open, but not puffed out like a parade soldier. Your shoulders are relaxed, not clenched around your ears, and not collapsed forward as if you are trying to disappear. Your head is level, not tilted down in submission, nor tilted up in arrogance. This posture sends a very clear signal. I respect myself, and I am approachable. Many people think respect comes from looking hard or stiff. In truth, stiffness is often read as fear. Relaxed alignment, upright but not rigid, is read as confidence. Next, consider your hands and arms. Hands hidden in pockets for the entire walk often signal discomfort or even defensiveness. Wild, fidgety movements signal anxiety. We are looking for something simpler. Hands visible, at least part of the time, resting naturally by your sides, or holding a folder, a notebook, or a bag without clutching it for dear life. When you do gesture, let your movements be economical. A small adjustment of your sleeve, a brief wave to someone you recognize, a light touch to the back of a chair when you pass, these are natural. Constantly touching your face, tapping your fingers, or wringing your hands tells the room, I am not at ease in my own skin. Now let us talk about your face and eyes. You do not need to plaster a smile across your face like a mask. In fact, a fixed smile often looks more like tension than friendliness. On the other hand, a blank, expressionless face can easily be misread as coldness or annoyance. Aim for a neutral, friendly expression, lips relaxed, jaw loose, with the possibility of a smile. Your eyes are where much of the work is done. As you step into the room, let your eyes travel gently across it, without rushing or staring. When they meet someone's gaze, allow them to soften slightly, as if to say, I see you, and offer a small nod or flicker of a smile. Avoid the two most common mistakes: staring at the floor as if you hope it will swallow you, or staring at the ceiling or far wall to avoid contact. Both send the same message. I don't want to engage. Short, natural bits of eye contact with different parts of the room tell people, I am here and I am present. Let me give you a simple comparison. Person A enters with shoulders curved forward, eyes down on their phone, fingers flying as they pretend to be busy. They move quickly to the nearest empty seat and collapse into it with a sigh, still looking at the screen. In a few minutes, if you asked others in the room who just entered, many would say, I'm not sure. Someone came in, I think. Their body said, I don't. Count. And the room agreed. Person B enters with their phone already put away. Their shoulders are relaxed but upright. They walk at a calm pace, eyes up, scanning the room lightly. When their eyes meet someone's, they give a small nod. They take a seat where they can see and be seen, and when someone else speaks, they turn slightly toward them. No dramatic gestures, no grand entrance, but others think, this person seems in charge of themselves. I remember watching a factory foreman walk into a noisy workshop. Machines were running, workers were talking over the clamor, tools clanked against metal. He did not blow a whistle or shout orders. He simply walked in with steady steps, shoulders back, hands relaxed behind his back, eyes moving slowly across the room. One by one, men straightened up. Conversations quieted. Without a word, his posture alone said, the person responsible is here. He was not feared, he was respected. He looked like a man who was in command of himself and therefore capable of being in command of the work. We often overlook how deeply we read the bodies of others. A child will cling to the adult who seems solid and calm, not the one who fidgets and flutters. Employees will confide in the manager whose presence feels grounded, not the one who looks nervous in their own office. Friends will turn to the person who stands and moves with quiet assurance when they are troubled. We trust those who look at ease in their own body. We respect those who seem in command of themselves even before they try to command others. You may not be able to change your height, your face, or your clothing in a moment, but in the space of the first 10 steps into a room, you can adjust your speed, your posture, your hands, your face, and your eyes. These small choices, repeated day after day, create a powerful impression that you are someone who belongs wherever you are, and someone whose presence is worth noticing even before you say a single word. Respect in a room is not about where you sit, but about how you make others feel from where you sit. You can be at the head of the table and be quietly ignored, or at the side of the room and be deeply respected. The difference lies in what you do with your attention. Once you've entered the room and taken your place, the real work of silent connection begins. You are now part of a small world. This meeting, this gathering, this dinner table, people are watching, not just what you say, but what you do when you are not speaking. The first way you touch others without words is simply by acknowledging them. Human beings have a deep hunger to feel seen. A small nod, a brief smile, a tiny raising of the hand. When you catch someone's eye, these may seem insignificant, but they send a clear message. I see you. And when people feel seen by you, they are far more likely to see you in return. When you enter and notice someone you know, you do not need to rush over or wave wildly. A gentle nod across the room, a slight bow of the head, a hint of a smile is enough. In that moment, you have built a quiet bridge. You have said, you matter enough for me to recognize you, and that is the first step toward respect. Next comes where you place yourself. Many people sabotage their own presence by hiding. They choose the chair behind a pillar, the seat in the far corner, the place where they can see no one and no one can see them. They tell themselves they are being humble, but they are really removing themselves from the arena of human contact. On the other hand, it is also a mistake to take the center throne when it is not appropriate. Sitting at the main seat of the table when you are not leading the meeting, or planting yourself in the most prominent spot at a gathering, can make you seem pushy or unaware. The wise choice is somewhere in between, a place where you can see and be seen comfortably, not hiding, not dominating, simply available. This might be a seat where you have a clear view of most people, or a standing spot where others can easily approach you without feeling they are interrupting. Then there is your listening posture. Long before you say anything, people are deciding what kind of person you are based on how you listen. Do you sit with your body slightly oriented toward the speaker, or turned away? Do your eyes wander around the room, or rest calmly on the person who has the floor? Do you nod occasionally, showing that you are following, or do you sit as still and blank as a statue? A body that is slightly leaned in, facing the speaker, with occasional nods and an attentive stillness, tells everyone, I am engaged. I take you seriously. You do not need to overdo. Too much nodding looks false, but a complete lack of response looks like boredom or contempt. Nothing destroys respect faster than the person who constantly scans their phone, glances at the door, or stares at the ceiling while others are talking. It tells the room, what happens in my little world is more important than anything happening here. People may tolerate it if you have high status, but they will not truly respect you for it. Let us look at a work meeting. One colleague leans back in their chair with arms folded, eyes half glazed. They only sit up when their own topic appears on the agenda. Even in silence, the message is clear. My interest begins and ends with myself. Another colleague sits upright, not rigid but present, looks at each speaker, occasionally makes a note, nods at key points. This person may not speak often, but when they do, others listen. Why? Because their listening has already earned them respect. At a social gathering, you may see someone standing alone in a corner, arms crossed tight over their chest, eyes fixed on their drink. They may be shy or simply tired, but the message others receive is, do not come near. I am closed. Most will respect that boundary and leave them alone, but they will also decide, this person is not someone I can easily connect with. Now picture another person in the same room. They stand with their arms more relaxed, one hand perhaps lightly holding a glass at waist level, shoulders open. They occasionally let their eyes meet someone else's, and offer a small, genuine smile. They do not appear desperate to talk to anyone, but they are clearly not hiding. People feel safer walking up to that person. It is not their words that invite respect. It is the way they make others feel welcome without pressure. In a family setting, the power of silent connection can be profound. Imagine a tense dinner where two relatives are already bristling, ready to argue. One person at the table sits hunched, staring at their plate, bracing for impact. Their very posture adds to the heaviness. Another sits solid and calm, back straight, face gentle, eyes moving kindly from one speaker to another. When voices rise, they do not roll their eyes or slump in frustration. They remain steady. Without making a speech, they become an unspoken anchor in the room. Others feel it. They may not say, "You calm us," but they will behave as if it were true. You command respect not by demanding attention, but by giving attention in a way that makes people feel safe in your presence. When your eyes say, "I see you," when your posture says, "I am here with you," when your placement in the room says, "I am available, not hiding," people will feel it. They may not know why, but they will find themselves trusting you a little more, relaxing when you walk in, and valuing your presence even before you speak a word. Let us gather everything we have spoken about into something you can carry with you, a simple ritual for entering any room with quiet dignity. Think of it as your room entry ritual. Before the door, take just a moment for yourself. One breath. Not dramatic, just deliberate. Inhale slowly. Straighten your posture a little. Let your shoulders relax as you exhale. Then think one clear thought. I am here to contribute, not to prove myself. This alone changes the story. You are not walking in to be judged. You are walking in to be useful. On the first steps inside, let your actions match that intention. Your phone is away, not acting as a shield between you and the world. Your pace is steady, not rushing, not dragging. Your posture is open, chest gently lifted, head level, shoulders at ease. You are saying with your body, "I belong here as much as anyone." As you scan the room, keep your eyes up. Let them move calmly over the space. When they meet someone's gaze, offer one or two nods or brief smiles. You are not putting on a show. You are simply acknowledging life around you. Each small gesture says, "I see you," and that makes others far more willing to see you. When you take your place, choose it with intention. Sit or stand where you can see and be seen, neither hidden in a corner nor claiming a throne that is not yours. Once there, adopt a listening posture, body oriented slightly toward whoever is speaking, hands relaxed, face attentive. You are telling the room, "I am present. I am with you." That is all. Breath, thought, pace, posture, eyes, acknowledgement, listening. It may sound simple, and it is, but simple does not mean small. Repeated day after day, this ritual will quietly reshape how people experience you. I would like you to test this, not just believe it. For the next 7 days, choose 3 kinds of situations. One work situation, perhaps a meeting, an interview, or a client visit. One social situation, a gathering, a cafe, a class, even a gym. One family situation, a dinner, a visit, a conversation at home. In each of these, practice your room entry ritual consciously. Do not strive for perfection. Just remember, one breath, one thought, steady steps, open posture, eyes up, small acknowledgments, attentive listening. At the end of each day, write one simple line. How did the room feel different when I entered with intention? Maybe people looked up more quickly. Maybe someone approached you who usually doesn't. Maybe nothing outside changed yet, but you felt calmer, more solid. That, too, matters. You are not a background figure. You are someone whose very presence can steady a room, calm a tense table, and make others feel more important without saying a word. When you learn to command yourself, you begin to command respect. And remember, this is only the beginning. Your silent entrance prepares the way. In other lessons, we will talk about what to say after those first quiet moments to deepen respect, to build connection, to solve conflicts. Before you go, I would like to hear from you. Where are you watching from? How old are you? In what type of room do you most want to command more respect, work, social, or family? Share it in the comments. Your story may encourage someone who feels exactly as you do. And if you want to keep learning how to move, speak, and relate to people in ways that earn you quiet, genuine respect, make sure to subscribe. Your presence can become one of the greatest gifts you bring to any room you enter. By now you can see that commanding respect without a word is not a mystery. It is a sequence of small, deliberate choices. To make them easy to remember, let us gather everything into a simple pattern I would like you to carry with you, a room entry ritual you can use anywhere. First, before the door. Do not rush through this moment. It takes only a few seconds, but it sets the tone for everything that follows. As you approach, pause inside yourself. Take one slow breath. As you inhale, allow your spine to lengthen just a little. As you exhale, let your shoulders loosen. Then choose one clear thought. I am here to contribute, not to prove myself. You are no longer a nervous guest seeking permission to exist. You are a human being with something of value to bring. Next, the first steps inside. Slip your phone away. If you keep it in your hand like a shield, you tell the room, I would rather be somewhere else. Walk in at a steady, unhurried pace, not rushing as if you are late, not dragging as if you dread being there. Let your posture stay open, chest gently lifted, head level, shoulders at ease. You are saying with your body, I belong here as much as anyone. As you begin to scan the room, lift your eyes. Let them travel calmly across the space. When they meet someone's gaze, offer a small nod or a brief, genuine smile. You do not need to beam at everyone or put on a show. One or two simple acknowledgments are enough to say, I see you. People feel that, and those who feel seen by you are far more likely to see you in return. Then comes taking your place. Choose a seat or a spot where you can see and be seen without hiding and without trying to dominate. When you sit or stand, adopt a listening posture. Body oriented slightly toward whoever is speaking, hands relaxed, face attentive. Even in silence, this tells the room, I am present. I am involved. You can count on me to be here with you, not lost in my own world. That is your ritual. One breath, one thought, steady steps, open posture, eyes up, small acknowledgments, attentive listening. Practiced once, it may feel new. Practiced often, it becomes part of who you are. I would like you to test this, not just understand it. For the next 7 days, choose 3 kinds of moments. One work situation, a meeting, a briefing, an interview, a client visit. One social situation, a gathering, a class, a coffee shop, a gym. One family situation, a meal, a visit, a conversation at home. In each one, use your room entry ritual consciously. You do not have to do it perfectly. You simply have to do it on purpose. Then, at the end of the day, write one line in a notebook or on your phone. How did the room feel different when I entered with intention? Maybe you notice more eyes turning toward you. Maybe someone starts a conversation who usually wouldn't. Maybe the room feels no different yet, but you feel more grounded. All of these are signs that your presence is changing. You are not. A background figure. You are someone whose very presence can steady a room, calm a tense table, and make others feel more important without saying a word. When you learn to command yourself, you begin to command respect. What we have spoken about today is the silent half of human relations. In other lessons, we will talk about the words that should follow. How to open your mouth in a way that deepens that respect, builds cooperation, and creates real connection after those first quiet moments. Before you leave, I would like to hear from you. Where are you watching from? How old are? Well, you? And in what kind of room do you most want to command more respect at work, in social settings, or with your family? Share it in the comments below. Your experience may help someone else who feels exactly as you do. And if you want to keep learning how to move, speak, and relate to people in ways that earn you quiet, genuine respect, make sure to subscribe. Your presence can become one of the greatest gifts you bring to any room you enter.